Breaking Bad is the best show you've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
Breaking Bad is the best show I've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
Is it worth watching The Wire in 2024? The short answer is yes. I will explain why. When someone said that I should watch The Wire, I went to IMDb and watched this trailer.
The Wire, the complete second season.
There's some guys that are showing a lot of money. Port guys. Drugs, maybe, or the usual thieving. Girls
And now, please tell me, would you watch the show after watching this incredibly aged trailer? So several times I decided no, it's not for me. But now in 2024, when many films and shows are remastered, available in very high quality and also can be watched on very good screens at home, I finally gave it a chance. All the suggestions were not wrong, and this trailer is not even close to the mood, pace and depth of the show. So I enjoyed the show first of all visually, as it was intended, and I'm really glad I haven't watched it before on some sort of 4x3 TV. Another reason why it's interesting to watch The Wire in 2024 is that it's the best old-school looking show I've seen in ages. This nostalgic feeling, which shows like True Detective and Stranger Things want to achieve, showing in using older technology, but instead in The Wire we actually see the development of the technology in the early 2000s.
No more pages. Touts, lookouts, off the air, alright? Nobody gonna use these cell phones except for you and Bodie. And y'all get some shit on these cell phones, you understand me?
Another throwback to the early 2000s is the show's soundtrack. It is mainly rap and hip-hop and it's presented in an interesting way. It is many times diegetic music, which means it's played within the scene and it's also heard by the characters.
Where my gun?
In the trap. We get it when we set up.
Airing from 2002 to 2008, The Wire was one of the most beloved and critically acclaimed series on HBO. The crime drama focuses on crime and the legal system in Baltimore, reaching so many viewers over the course of its 5 seasons. The show requires your attention. It's not a show you can turn on in the background, cook dinner, skip the middle of the episode and tune in for the twist in the end. It has lots of dialogues, lots of different slang and mumbling, so at least for me it was not only watching, listening, but also reading the subtitles.
Always apart, always acting wild, when you should be doing what you told.
As a person who doesn't live in America, I still feel very connected to the problems addressed in the show. A realistic portrayal of Baltimore feels very universal and can be applied to almost any other city and country.
Baltimore was the best character on the show. And I think, for it to be a space where everybody was coming from different neighborhoods. I'm from the Bronx, Jamie's from Brooklyn, we had cats come from London. We had people come from all different spectrums of their own kind of hood or their own kind of understanding of what middle class or those neighborhoods might look like.
Sure.
But then Baltimore had a different feel. It was a different despair that I never felt in any place else that I had traveled to, that made Baltimore a place that we all felt grounded and we all got a sense of what was important about this story.
The show also connects to anyone who has ever worked in a government institution and knows the problems are never fully resolved. Show creator David Simon was a reporter for Baltimore Sun newspaper for 12 years, where he covered crime and police department news. David Simon developed a relationship with Ed Burns, a Baltimore City police officer, who also was a public school teacher at Baltimore, so this direct experience is a base for season 4. And other writers invited to the show are also from Baltimore, covering the subjects that David and Ed were less familiar with, like the political scene.
If I hadn't been in that city, there's no way I'd have been able to understand what the hell The Wire was about, because it was more than anything, The Wire was about Baltimore. And it was David and Ed's most successful show, probably because it was about the thing they knew most, which was they knew Baltimore so well. And so did all the other writers from Zorzi and everyone else who worked on the Baltimore Sun.
There are simply too many characters in The Wire to dig deeply into each one of them, and all of them are also very rich and important to the story. The show has the type of characters you get attached to. Bubbles, a beloved junkie, the always smiling McNulty, revenge-seeking Batman type Omar, and unbelievably tough and violent Snoop. But the main ones are McNulty, Cedric Daniels, Bunk, Lester Freeman, Bubbles, Stringer Bell, Omar, Marlowe, Tommy Kirketti, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I was actually called to read for Bunk. In my third audition, David, he asked me to read for Bubbles on the spot.
When I went in, everybody that was reading for Bubbles was chewing bubble gum.
I was told the next week that I was second choice for Bubbles. And if the other guy didn't take it, I'd get it.
Now, threw my pack of gum out and said no. I will now fall into that, cliche.
I auditioned for Stringer Bell.
He'd have been terrible as Stringer Bell. Lucky he got called. Oh God, he'd have been terrible.
Yes, I did audition for my part, and the casting director, Alexa Fogel, gets a lot of flack from my peers, my so-called rat peers. How Method Man get on the show that I'm trying to get on The Wire? Well, Method Man came in and he auditioned for the part. I sat there, I studied the lines, I went in, nailed it, and got the part. Now, where my cheese at, man?
Sadly, many of the actors who starred in the show are gone now. Lance Reddick, who played Cedric Daniels, died in 2023. A cause of that has not been determined. Michael K. Williams was the character Omar. He died in 2021 of a drug overdose, according to police. Reg E. Cathy portrayed the political operative Norman Wilson on the show. He died in 2018. It was reported that he was battling lung cancer. Robert F. Chu was an acting coach, but his role as a drug kingpin Proposition Joe was perhaps his best-known performance. He died of a heart attack in 2013.
It ain't right for you to be at the head of our table when you can't call off your dog. Call it a crisis of leadership.
Starting every season of The Wire is a little bit difficult, as you are shifted away from the characters you already know and love. But as soon as it starts to open up a bigger picture and link the new characters with the ones we already know, the show only gets better.
Couple of faces. Not many.
Yeah, you're gonna wait for a year and the whole world changes up.
Every season is important. It shows character development. Every season shows the same topic but from a different perspective. Trying to solve a case, digging deeper and deeper, only to realize that problems with corruption, politics, hierarchy and bureaucracy are in every aspect of our lives and areas of work. Whether you're on a street, you are in police, you are in school as a pupil or a teacher, in politics, in the newsroom, everything is not as simple as it seems. With the beginning of every season, you feel that major crimes will finally solve everything, but once again, another obstacle comes in place. Characters are unable to act on a subject the way they would want to. In The Wire, we see that all the time, but because of the initiative of individuals, because of their effort, enthusiasm for their job, and maybe rebellism, something might change. Not necessarily it will end up good for a person who is trying, but these types of people just cannot sit and observe the situation from the side.
West Baltimore is dying, and you empty suits are running around trying to pin some politician's pelt to the wall.
There are no simply bad or good characters. There are real people in real environment. It's like in Scorsese's movies. You feel for the character because he's so versatile. The cop is not always law-abiding and fair, and the kid on the corner is not just simply no one. He also has a family and a story why he's where he is.
Damn, I fucking pissed myself!
And it was also the aim of the writers to create something that is universally recognizable. The story is about a city where we ask, how do we all live together, and how do we get the society progressing?
Is about the drug war, and I wish 15 years later that The Wire were anachronistic as a whole, and that there was nothing it could say now to our present moment that it was trying to say then. unfortunately, this is America, and, you know, we are as we were.
In the case of The Wire, you really gain something after you finish the show. It's socially educational, allows you to look into different areas of how a city is structured and compare it with your own. So once again, answering the question in the title, yes, it's definitely worth watching The Wire in 2024 for the first time.
Oh, fuck.
Motherfucker.